This is my 2014 KTM 350 XCFW. I've enjoyed watching people's build videos on these bikes, and so I thought I'd do one of my own, since a lot of the choices are personal preference, and I had different objectives than a lot of people that put a lot of effort into modding their bikes. So I thought I'd go over some of the things I've done and why. This bike's now 11 years old. It's got over 700 hours on it and over 16,000 miles. I'm a recreational rider. I don't do racing. I don't do jumping. I just enjoy trail riding and exploring. In my 70s, but I still enjoy riding single track and ATV trails, as well as doing multi-day camping trips. Start with the wheels. I'm a big fan of the Tubliss tire inserts. I've been using them for probably over 15 years on multiple bikes. I've only had one failure in all that time. I had a faulty high pressure tube that the valve stem came off. Other than that, they've been rock solid. I have had a few tires that wouldn't seal very well, particularly some Motaz tires, but everything else has worked well. I've tried a lot of different tires, and my current favorite for the front is this Golden Tire Fatty. I believe it's a 216 something. Yeah, 216 AA Fatty. This has been the most confidence-inspiring front tire I've ever tried. I've really been happy with it. I've got SKF wheel bearings, and I haven't had any trouble with wheel bearings in all these years. I do replace them occasionally. On the rear, my favorite tire is the Kenda Parker Desert tire. This one's probably about half worn. The knobs on the thing are huge when they're new. It's been a very good tire. It does quite well in all conditions, including pavement. I've tried gummies and trail tires and all sorts of things, and this is my go-to favorite. It just works pretty good in all conditions, and I usually get about 3,000 miles on it. Again, I've got the tubeless system. I've also balanced the tires so it's a little smoother on the highway. Got a shark fin to protect that rear disc rotor. For carrying my tools, I have a Wolfman Enduro fender bag. I don't think they sell this anymore, but one thing that's nice is you can unbuckle it and take the bag off. So if you're leaving at the shop or staying in a motel, you can take your tools in. I also have a tugger strap made by my buddies Troy and Bert, and that comes in handy. I also have on the front a front tugger strap, as well as a Dirt Bike Utah front fender bag. I like this bag because it keeps the weight in close to the forks, so it doesn't affect handling very much. In here I have a front and a rear high pressure tube for the tubeless, as well as fuel transfer hose and a few other miscellaneous items. I also put this little bag. This is a $12 fanny pack I bought off Amazon. Has a few miscellaneous items. My tugger toe strap is in here, and some tools that I get at fairly commonly. I mainly put this on because my headlight mask got pretty beat up by rubbing against another bike in a trailer and scratched the heck out of it, so I put this on to cover it up. It's been pretty handy. It's easy to get at the tools in there. While we're in the front, I also have a Cyclops LED bulb. This is a simple upgrade that makes the headlight bright enough you can actually ride at night. If I were doing a lot of night riding, I would buy one of the more expensive upgrades, but this has been more than adequate for my needs. When I bought the bike, I immediately converted it to street legal, so I added blinkers and a horn. I just recently found this slightly larger horn that hopefully will last longer than the cheap ones I've used in the past, but this one is a lot louder, so hopefully people can actually hear it. I have an FMF exhaust. If I were doing it over again, I would do the same thing my son did and just change the end cap on the stock exhaust. I think that's a cheaper way to get a little extra horsepower. Suspension, I think, is a critical component that most people overlook because it's fairly expensive. I had mine resprung and revalved by Stillwell Performance, and so my goal was to make it more plush. And I always forget how plush it is unless I trade bikes with somebody that has stock suspension, and it's a significant improvement to have your suspension revalved for your application and your weight. So for me, that was well worth the money. I put a Rekluse clutch in. That's been a game changer for me. Most of my tip overs used to be because I'd stall the bike. I'd get in some rough terrain and just lack confidence and stall the bike and then fall over. And so my confidence went up significantly by putting that Rekluse in there. I put on the Samco hoses. I don't know if that was necessary, but figured why not, and it's worked fine for me. I also have these socks over the seals on the forks, and that's helped. I very rarely get dirt in there that causes a leak. I have the Seat Concept seat. I used the standard seat for many years, and this summer it finally wore out and got a big split along the seam, and so I upgraded to the XL Comfort. So hopefully that'll be a little more comfortable on these longer rides. Under the seat, I have a lithium battery. I replaced the stock one right off the bat, and that saved a few pounds. And that stock, or that battery lasted 10.5 years, so I finally had to replace it just a few months ago. So that's pretty good life out of a battery. I have a capacitor across the battery so I can kick start it when the battery's dead, and we've tested and verified that that really works. I also have the ignition map switch hardwired to the wild mode. I used to have a switch up on the handlebars, but it corroded and it quit working, so I just hardwired it because I never took it off of wild anyway. I use the stock tank for day rides most of the time. I've upgraded and put the Takomoto 3000 hour fuel pump in there, as well as a metal fuel filter inside the tank and a Golem filter and metal clamps out here. I did learn this summer you do need to clean these periodically. I hadn't maintained mine and had some fuel delivery problems on our Idaho trip. So that's I think a must item for long rides. I've got a TMD plastic skid plate. I was a little nervous at first with the plastic skid plate, but I'm really happy with it. It slides over rocks easily. I also have a 13-liter, which is almost 3.5 gallon tank that I use on my multi-day rides, as well as a 5-gallon tank, which I very rarely use, but occasionally if I need the range, I'll put that in. And then in the air box here, I have a JD fuel injection tuning kit. That's been really nice. It's a lot cheaper than the Get and the Vortex ECUs, and it's easy to program. So that helped wake the bike up a little bit. And it also improved my fuel economy by about 5 miles to the gallon. So I usually get about 55 miles to the gallon. I've done 2 top end rebuilds on this. The second one I decided to put a big bore kit in, so now it's a 365. I saw essentially no difference. I don't know if that was worth the money. It wasn't all that expensive, but I think the improvement was insignificant. My primary goals on this bike are comfort, reliability, and reduction of fatigue, especially as I'm getting older. Anything I do to be comfortable and reduce the fatigue is going to help me enjoy the day more. So I've got oversized foot pegs. These are wider, lower, and farther back, which helps since I'm fairly tall. Makes it more comfortable. The seat is a must. And then the handlebars, the controls, I have a Scott's steering stabilizer, another expensive item that in my opinion is worth every penny. I am convinced it reduces fatigue significantly, and I'm convinced that it has saved me from more than one crash throughout the years. And saving one crash justifies the expense in my book. That raises the handlebars about 1 inch, and then I've got a 10mm spacer in addition, and that makes it really comfortable for me, both standing and sitting. I have heated grips, which is a fairly simple thing to add if you don't mind doing a little wiring, which I'm comfortable with. That comes in handy. I've got a Bluetooth push-to-talk button for my communication system, my light, blinker, and horn controls, trail mirror. These double take mirrors I upgraded to their new ball, which is a little bit larger diameter, and they're beefier clamp. I really like these LHRB's X Factor handguards. They're by far my favorite handguard. They're very strong. They're shaped metal, so they don't bend easily, and I like this wraparound plastic. I used to use Cycra handguards, which are very popular, and branches would flip off the end and hit my knuckles, and this prevents all of that. I also put a Midwest Mountain Engineering clutch lever in to reduce the clutch pull, since when you add an auto clutch, it makes the clutch pull a little harder. So that's been nice. And I really like this Clake SLR left-hand brake. I can operate it with one finger. That is awesome, especially with an auto clutch. Makes it more like riding a mountain bike when you're going down steep hills. I've had a lot of trouble with the Brembo brake going soft. I'm convinced that's air in the line that's for some reason difficult to get out. I have 2 other KTMs in the family, and my son's bike's never had the problem. My daughter's bike did really bad. I was able to get the air out of that one, and it's worked fine ever since. But I gave up on mine and put a Nissan front master brake cylinder on from, I think it's from a Yamaha or something. But anyway, that was a fairly simple conversion, and it's been rock solid ever since I made that change. Also, my GPS is a significant improvement I've made over the year. I've used GPSs of various types and different mounting locations. This is my favorite mounting location, just low and in line with the bars. Easy to read. I use the Gaia GPS app. It's my favorite app. The maps are very easy to read. It's easy to see my tracks. And this is a Ulefone rugged Android phone. It doesn't have a SIM card in it. It's only used for my GPS. And that's worked out really well. It's so much easier to read than my old Garmin units. And then I have this mounted in a Hondo garage wireless charger mount. And this is, I'm really happy with this. It's really robust. It'll carry pretty much any kind of phone and charges it while I ride. I have two SAE connectors here, one that's hooked directly to the battery that I use to recharge my GoPros and such at camp, and this one, which is running the GPS, is only powered when the bike's running, so it comes off the power relay so I don't run my battery dead. That's mounted to this Moto-minded stout mount, which really makes it easy to put your GPS right here on your handlebars where it's easy to get at. So I'm very happy with that. I raised my speedometer up and moved it back a little bit so it's easier to see with the raised handlebars and with GPS there. And that's worked out really well. My latest comfort upgrade is a Mako 360 bar mount, which has these polymers to absorb shock and vibration. I'm not too worried about vibration, but shock is important because sometimes I almost lose my grip on the bars when I hit something hard. So I got their model that has the little dashboard so I could put my GPS on there. I think it sticks up a little higher. And it's really tight clearance here, so I'd take the knob off my steering stabilizer. But I think that's going to work nice. And I also added a Trail Tech thermometer / clock